Previously, you learned how setting your SMART goal and understanding the associated KPIs can really help to set the objectives for your analytics project. And no matter what type of project you are working on as a data analyst, having a systematic approach such as the OSEMN framework we discussed earlier can make all the difference when it comes to achieving accurate results from your data analysis. Let's explore what using the OSEMN framework in practice looks like using the example of Calla and Ivy, the flower shop in Amsterdam. Imra, the owner, has created a website and is planning to start selling her famed bouquets online. We already saw that Imra has a SMART goal for her efforts: get 10,000 website visits during the month of May. Imra has planned a social media advertising campaign to help her achieve this goal. In that campaign, she will tell people about her new website, and she'll show images of the flowers featuring different bouquets and encouraging people to check out the website. She has set aside a $5,000 budget for this campaign, which she plans to run on Instagram during the month of May, right around Mother's Day. Imra also works with some of her employees to create a few TikTok videos featuring the flowers. She also plans to post to Calla and Ivy's Instagram stories every day during the month of May, showcasing behind-the-scenes images of the bouquet creation. Imra has an intern at the company, Sheila, who studies data analytics, and Imra asks Sheila to help her evaluate the success of the marketing efforts. She would also like to know whether there's anything she could do differently in the future. Sheila understands Imra's SMART goal, and she knows that one of the important KPIs for Calla and Ivy is the number of monthly website visits. With that in mind, Sheila comes up with a plan for her analysis process using the OSEMN framework. Here's what Sheila plans to do. As a first step, the obtain phase of the OSEMN framework, Sheila gets the data she needs for her project. She knows that there are a few different data sources she has access to that will give her relevant information. First, there's the website monitoring software Calla and Ivy uses, Google Analytics 360. From that data, she can pull information on website visits. What's more, it can give her information on the number of visits to the specific pages that were promoted in the different marketing messages. So she decides to pull all that data and download it into a spreadsheet. She downloads data for January to May because she wants to get a good sense of how the website performed since its launch. She also has access to Meta's Ads Manager, which she can use to access data about the ads Imra runs on Instagram. She decides to download all the data related to how often the different ads were shown and how often people clicked on the ads. She adds that data into a new tab in her spreadsheet. For the Instagram stories that employees posted, Sheila knows she can see how often those stories were seen using reports from Calla and Ivy's Instagram account. And for the TikTok videos, she can get similar data from the TikTok account. She downloads all that data and adds it to her spreadsheet. There's more data that could potentially help Sheila, but she decides that she will start with the data she has collected so far. She can always come back to these different data sources for more. Now it's time to scrub the data, making sure it's all set and clean for her analysis. First, Imra adds some labels to her data because not all the labels that were added in the download process are clear. Then she inspects the data a bit more closely. She notices that in the data that she downloaded from Google Analytics, there are a few different URLs for which page visit data is missing. She checks the URLs and she sees that they are broken, so the pages don't really exist. She decides to take out the rows that relate to these URLs because she now knows that the missing data won't have an effect on her analysis. Sheila checks the format of all her data and she notices that the dates are reported in a different format in the TikTok data. She decides to reformat the data so it uses the same format used for the Instagram and Google Analytics data. Now her data is ready to start exploring. In the Explore phase, Sheila first looks at the trend in the KPI, the total number of website visits. To do that, she creates a chart that shows the website visits by month from January until May. It's clear that the advertising campaign had an effect given how much the website visits increased in May. And yes, they reached their goal. In fact, they passed it with 13,457 website visits during the month of May. Sheila is curious about the effect of the different marketing activities. How many clicks were generated by the Instagram ads? And how many clicks were the TikTok videos and Instagram stories responsible for? She checks that out as well. She sums up the clicks for each and sees that the ads generated most of the clicks. But the TikTok videos didn't do badly at all. Well, that's interesting, given that they cost a lot less. Now, Sheila has an idea. What if she shifted some of the advertising budget to ads on TikTok? After all, it seems that the TikTok audience is into the videos Kala and Ivy has been creating, so maybe ads on that platform would work even better than on Instagram. Sheila decides this is worth some analysis. So now Sheila moves into the model phase. Sheila decides to go back to her data analytics teacher, and together they built a statistical model that lets Sheila calculate what might happen to website visits if Kala and Ivy spent $3,000 on Instagram ads and $2,000 on TikTok ads in the month of June. They used the insights from the month of May and some assumptions on the performance of ads on TikTok for their model. Sheila predicts that this redistribution of advertising budget, combined with the traffic trends they saw in the months before the advertising campaign started, will result in an increase of 35% in website visits. Not bad. Sheila is very excited about what she found and eager to tell her story to Imra. So the interpret stage begins. Sheila prepares a presentation with a few slides to support her interpretation. Of course, she first reports on the KPI and the trend she has seen in website visits over the past months. She then provides more detail on the performance of the different marketing actions, and she highlights the success of the unpaid marketing videos on TikTok and how this led her to believe there was potential in shifting some marketing dollars to the TikTok platform. Then she explains how the model her teacher helped her build predicts a 35% increase in website visits for the month of June if they redistribute the marketing budget. Imra is thrilled with Sheila's work. Imra had planned to continue the campaign on Instagram because she felt it was driving people to the website, but she hadn't thought about spending dollars on TikTok advertising. Now, seeing the data supported insights from Sheila, Imra decides to start advertising on TikTok, and she's confident that June will now be an even better month for Kala and Ivy. For Sheila, it's exciting to see the direct influence of her work on the decision-making at Kala and Ivy. The OSEMN framework helped Sheila tackle the tasks she was given in a few different steps. Coming up, we will look at each of these steps in a lot more detail, and by the end of this course, you will be well equipped with the tools you need to perform a task like the one Sheila was given, as well as more complex data analytics challenges.